Hi everyone, Michael Faust here. Great to have you on this webinar today. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. Today is basically give you an in-depth look at Endotech. Some of you may be aware or not be aware that we were already investigating Endotech for our own private trading purposes before we even knew about D.A.Sy. And so our enthusiasm for Endotech wasn't just as a result of actually participating in the D.A.Sy opportunity. And Chris has been working in the financial sector and working with traders and looks after a lot of the aspect of our own projects. So he's doing a deep dive into this. So he's going to share with you today some really good insights to help you get a bigger picture sense of what Endotech's all about, what they actually do, how they achieve their results, and why we're enthusiastic about it. And hopefully at the end of the session, you'll be enthusiastic as well. So I'm going to hand it over to Chris now and let you get on with the job.
Thanks, Michael, and thanks everyone for being here, either in person or by watching the video. Today, really, I want you to understand how we came to understanding the substance of Endotech. And I think no matter whether you're here to participate in the crowdfund or whether you're here to promote the crowdfund, these are really important things that you need to understand. And they're more than just a substance line. Before I go into this, I just want to read you a quick disclaimer. The presentation is for educational purpose only. It is to share our research, which is not exhaustive, and our personal opinion. This should not be considered a solicitation or investment offering. The presentation is not providing any investment, financial, legal, or taxation advice, and any historical performance shared should not be considered as a reliable indicator of future performance. You should do your own investigations and make sure you take professional advice with regards to your own personal situation before making any decisions with regards to Endotech, and that covers the legal disclaimer. So before we get into today's program, I'm just going to run through the key points that I want to talk to you about today. So first, I'm going to look at the substance and history of first Dr. Anna Becker, second of Dimitri, the co-founder and COO, incorrectly, it's not CEO, Endotech itself. So we want to look at some real data about the company. Then we want to look at a little bit of information about their strategies of growing USD, Bitcoin, Ether. We want to understand just a small amount about their alpha and beta strategies. We want to look at performance because performance historically does matter. Additionally, we want to just cover off quickly why a crowdfunding model, why smart contracts, what paths and accesses you actually have to Endotech. And then we want to review the value proposition in terms of a summary. So what I want to do is I actually want to take you directly to the web. So let's change screens and go to the web because my investigation, like yours, will start with data from the web. I'm just going to clear the video so we can focus full screen on this information. So here we are at Endotech's actual site. A little bit of information about it. We go, okay, so let's try and start with the basics. Founded in 2012. We'll look into that and understand a little bit more about it. You'll read about these informations. But the key people here are Dr. Anna Becker and Dimitri. You will find there are other people, but I'm going to deep dive into these two and their company. So one of the things that matters a lot to me is that things are not something that was dreamed up yesterday and started the day after and have had some history and some background. So when I do a little bit of research about Dr. Anna Becker, I go back to articles published, as you see here, in 2002, talking about Strategy Runner, her former strategy that she sold off to one of the big investment things. So we find that 2002 is a reasonably long time ago. Strategy Runner was established by Dr. Anna Becker, today's company chief executive, raised seed funds of more than $1 million, goes through all of those things. And it shows me that it's been around and she's been around in the market, in the investment space for a reasonably long period of time. And anyone that's been around for a reasonable long period of time, you should be able to find significant data. So let's look at this next article I've picked. Now we're talking December 2006. So again, long time ago. It's talking again about Strategy Runner. We go down here, we look at this. We're glad to offer customers and strategy vendors the ability to trade Forex through GFT. So we look at this and we see someone with a pattern of history. This is very important. Let's go a little bit further. November 2016 here, an article again about Sherpa, a system created by her that's offering access in the trading market. So what I can definitively say is that she's been around in this space for a significant period of time and has a high reputational interest. We go to YouTube, not necessarily to watch the video, but because what I see here is that in 2017, she presented a video specifically on artificial intelligence and investing in the crypto space. So today's idea is not a new idea. It's been around for a significant point of time. So with all of these things, you don't know for sure, but what you can do is amass enough evidence to get a significant understanding of the probability of a positive outcome of being involved with this person. Here we find, again, 2018, an article written by her and another PhD with regards to the crypto markets and participating in the crypto markets. Very good article, a lot of great information that explains how she works, how strategies that they involve and develop are working in the markets. Really important sort of stuff. So what I'm building up is an image of a person that's been around, been involved in the market for a period of time. So here, I also want to know a little bit more about her than that. I want to know that not only has she published and been in the market for a period of time, but that she's been involved with various industry-related bodies and things of that nature. So if we go to the regulation of brokers, we go to this particular site, we come down here and we have a look at the Dispute Resolution Committee. I'll just click on that. We go down the page and we see that she is, let me just scroll to it, obviously with a little wilder hair at the time, she's involved in this industry body as part of the dispute resolution. That shows me participation and industry acknowledgement. So then I go to the Financial Commission and the same thing. Her CV tells me that she was involved in this particular organisation, an industry organisation designed to protect consumers. So I go here and I find that the Commission has issued a specific release saying in response to numerous inquiries, the Financial Commission here confirms that from 2017 until 2019, Dr. Anna Becker served as a member of the Financial Commission's Dispute Resolution Committee. So what I'm starting to do is build up an image of the data I've been told about her, adding up to what the information I can find. So they also claim that she was a co-author of one of the books, Bayesian Algorithms. And for those that follow certain particular crypto presenters, you'll know that this is a very, very important thing. So where do we go? We go to Amazon. We find here that she's listed as one of the authors. Okay, so we go down the page a little bit more to see what is here. And here it goes. Anna Becker, holder of a PhD in artificial intelligence, has participated in several Bayesian network projects, including the getting tongue-tied, Human Genome Project. She is now president of Strategy Runner, etc. So I'm starting to build up a picture that matches with the profile that's being shared. So let's just go back to that profile. Now, so we can see she sold Strategy Runner. She's a book of the book. We've found the book. We found out a pile of information. Now, interesting, we go to D.Ai.Sy. So he has a Master of Science in Astrophysics from Tel Aviv University. That must mean he's a pretty sharp guy. So let's try and see what we can see about D.Ai.Sy. So we see here on a profile, and these can obviously be created by the user, so you can't overly rely on them. But I also find that not only is he involved with Endotech, but he's involved in Fractum. Fractum is an engineering research laboratory specializing in design, development, and manufacturing of high-class antennas. So if we look at his stated degree and we look at the things he's involved with, things add up. So let's have a look. Fancy that. Someone of this character and nature and of this background holds a patent in the particular area. So these things, when we look up data, we start getting a match and an image of this person that matches the information we're shared on. Again, another general profile, but I found an interesting piece of information here. Lead manager and strategy manager back in 2007 to 2009. And we know that was Dr. Anna Becker's project that she sold off in 2011. So what I see is the two co-founders have a long history of involvement in this particular area. Is he also a published author? Well, let's look at the National Library of Israel. We find here that he has published some in-depth documents here, and I'm not even going to go into those because they're way above my pay grade in terms of their complexity. Has he presented? Certainly in his area of specialty, we see that he's presented at a particular conference here in 2017, International Conference on Microwaves, Antennas, Communication and Electric Systems. But rather than just reading an abstract and a dissertation, I went and actually looked a little further. So I look here at the PDF that covers this particular thing, entered his name, and let's have a look. We see here that he was actually, in this section, interactive forums. He was head of one of the interactive forums. So what I'm building is a consistent understanding of the quality and the nature of the person and the bio that matches them. So we go here to Yahoo News, and we see something that validates both Dimitri and Endotech in the space. So an article, Gemini supports Endotech for institutional crypto automation. Now you can read through this article, get an understanding. There's a picture of a younger Dimitri, and it talks about both the project, D.A.Sy, Endotech. And so we're getting a bigger picture, which I think is really important in understanding the substance behind what's going on. So that covers off both a little bit of research on Dr. Anna and Dimitri. Let's look at factual information about the company. When was it started? And all of those sort of things. Where is it registered? So here I have a copy of the certificate of translation from a notary, which says that here is a notarized copy or English translation of the certificate of incorporation for Endotech Limited. It says when it was registered, its incorporation number, and that it was registered in 2012. This matches the information that they've published and publicly shared. And here I find in Hebrew, the original certificate of incorporation that was translated. So I'm starting to build a picture that this company is not something that someone had a bright idea 2 days ago, incorporated, bought a website, and moved forward with. So these are sort of important pieces of the jigsaw puzzle to pull together. So let's have a little bit long. The domain. Well, the domain was only registered in 2018. So for me, that's sort of a little bit of an alarm bell. And I had to ask some questions about this. Why would you register the company in 2012 and not register the website for it till 2018? Well, when you ask intelligent questions, you tend to get intelligent answers, and particularly when things are legitimate. And the answer to this was in 2011, she sold Strategy Runner. That's publicly available and verifiable information. When you sell something that involves technical algorithms and special data, you often are faced with what are called non-competition clauses. So for a period of time, whatever that is, 5 years, 2 years, 10 years, you can't come back into that space and create a competing product. So it makes sense that when she sold it in 2011, she incorporated Endotech for her next venture, but she was limited in going public about what she was doing till 2018. And we find in late 2017, which matches about the 5-year period, she started to publish again back in the market space. So it's quite understandable that Endotech's site was registered in 2018. Okay. And I guess one of the other things that we look at is that there's now a white paper available, some 57 pages. And I have to admit at this stage, I have not had opportunity to fully read it. but it contains a significant amount of technical and project overview data with regards to what they're intending to do, what they're intending to create at a more academic level. Now, does any of these things singularly mean that there's legitimacy to the project, that is fail-proof, perfect? No. But here what we're trying to do is review a body of evidence to end up with a probability of a positive engagement and a positive outcome. So what I've found and what I've covered off there gives you a little bit of understanding into that. Now I'm going to change shares for a minute. We're going to go back to the PowerPoint. So in reading some of the detractors, I've sort of heard comments about, is their address real? Well, the address that's already been seen matches this particular building. And this is an office building in which they run their office. Ironically, the same address matches a restaurant, as you can see at the bottom. So when you Google this particular address, you'll find the restaurant at the bottom. But here we find Edward, who's well known to both Michael and I, in the office, and he confirms it's in this building at this address. Now, the address was on the website, but it has been removed from the website because Endotech was always designed to be for institutional investors, not for retail investors. And as it's moved into the D.A.Sy crowdfund space, what they've found is that they've had a pile of people coming to the actual address, to the office, and they're not set up to receive people in that sort of arrangement. So in addition to that, their current offices, because of the crowdfunding success, they're going to be moving to bigger offices that will give them the room that they need to develop and expand. But real people, real pictures, we have those to share. So I want to talk a little bit about those strategies, and those that did the precursor call to this where we talked about terminology, I apologize for the next two slides. But Endotech's strategies are predominantly focused on growing a US dollar base, as it is more familiar to most people. Most people are not well adjusted to the huge variations in coin values. So trading for the masses to a US dollar base makes commercial sense. And when we review the various strategies, you'll see that this is actually the case for most of their strategies. For crypto enthusiasts, Endotech's better strategy of BTC Ether is focused on increasing the amount of coin held, regardless of that coin's USD value. Now, the exciting thing for crypto nuts is that more strategies are in development and testing with regards to increasing coin holdings. I do need to say to you, in my data analysis of each of the different strategies where I pulled them out month by month on their performance, my observation is that in a sideways or a bear market, in general terms, Endotech strategies significantly percentage-wise exceed a buy and hold strategy. However, an aggressive bull market, like we've had in the last 2.5 to 3 months, Endotech's non-leveraged options generally underperform a strict coin hold strategy. Now, if you're not understanding what that is, better to go back and have a look at the other video we did on terminology. So for the majority of people, a US dollar-based strategy is the easiest to understand and also to manage performance in. So Endotech has two primary strategies. Now, I'm not going to explain the technicals of this. Again, that was in the prior video, but an alpha strategy is where they execute both long, as in estimating the market going up, and short positions estimating the market going down. And they require a margin account at the exchange to do this. An alpha is characterized by a higher risk and a potentially higher reward. Alpha strategies can, in some instances, include leverage, but not in most. Better strategies, however, represent looking for a long-term breakout trading strategy only and do not require a margin exchange account, as there is no short selling and there is no leverage. Better implements a safer, a more consistent approach for those with a lower risk appetite. But I want you to study these things so you understand them. One of the strategies, because F and BTC have a strong 0.69 correlation, there is room for them to create value increase using this pair. So they do have one strategy currently that trades just between ETH and Bitcoin for the increase in value. For those who care only about accumulating more coins versus more fiat, Endotech does offer an ETH BTC cross pair trading that hedges into BTC without a USD component. Okay, so I'd like to go back to the website in a sec and talk about and explore the actual strategies of trading that they share there. But before we do that, I want to talk about the website and the data that we see there. Now, the big challenge in life is that anyone can publish data on a website, and you and I have no idea whether it's true, believable, trustworthy, or any of those things. You know, this is a really, really big challenge in the information age. So to address that concern, I can't share the data with you, but I can tell you that I have personally looked at 4 different privately held Binance accounts that have Endotech API trading on them. I have looked at the published entry and exit positions available on the Endotech website, and I have cross-verified that almost identical entry and exit positions were taken on the same strategies in private parties' Binance accounts. So from my point of view, 4 different accounts cross-verified means that I have a high probability of trust in the data I'm finding on the website. So when we go to the website, I'm also going to give you a little bit of understanding how you can explore the data yourself, how you can select data ranges and see what happens over a period of time. We also, when we look at those graphs, we're going to talk about why we need to take a longer term view when it comes to real live trading. And we're going to see the power of compounding. So let's just swap back to the Endotech website. Okay, so we're back on the website. So just so you know where to go, you click on the button at the top that says portfolio, and it will bring in a series of different strategies and their performance that you can see on the page. Okay, all different strategies with different ups and downs. And because this is real life trading, you'll see, like we see here, there's an up and there's a down. Not everything in trading can be or will be successful. If you saw a horizontal line going up across this page with no pullbacks, I would be very, very suspicious that the trading was real. So let's talk about an alpha strategy. So I'm not picking in any particular favor. I'll pick both alpha and beta strategies. Let's look at 4. So their primary Bitcoin alpha strategy. And remember, an alpha strategy means that they can trade up on a long position or trade down on a short position if they believe the market is moving in that direction. So that will open the information on the fund. Now, if we look at a 6-month window, 29th of the 8th, let's look at real live data, a starting balance of $10,000, understanding that this calculation will include compounding effect. So over a 6-month period, would 100% be an acceptable return in this market? With US dollar going from $10,000 to $20,000. That's a reasonably positive return. But let's look over a long historical performance of what would have happened. So in the last period of time, let's look here, most importantly, at winning and losing months. 26 months were winning months. 11 months were losing months. So let's look at a bigger time window. So we go up here and we click on the date. Let's go back to when the market turned bad after the $20,000 peak. So let's look at the 1st of January, 2018. December, we hit the peak, we're on the way down. Let's press the calculate button and let's look at what the return would be over that period. So we're looking at a 998.65. Keep in mind, there's compounding involved. Again, the data doesn't change for the number of months. We're just looking at the specific window. So if you want to do a more in-depth analysis of how it performed on a month-by-month basis, you can enter the start and finish date of each month, and you can track it out on a spreadsheet and get an understanding for real performance. But overall, the return there is very significant, very positive. Let's go and look at now, say, a better strategy. Again, let's look at Bitcoin. Very simple, very straightforward. Same information will come up. You'll be able to see exactly what the overall 22 months of winning, 15 months of losing. Let's calculate 6 months, 130%. Okay, let's go back now to 2018 where things again went south, January 1st, and we'll get an overview of the sort of return, 602%. Not bad, because remember, a better strategy is only one where I look to move to the thing that is gaining value. It's not where I'm able to do shorts, any of those things. There's no leverage or anything of that nature. So we see again, significant, consistent performance. Okay, not every month's a winner, but there's significant and consistent performance. Okay, so let's go and look at something more like an alpha beta strategy in the alpha environment, which is one of about market going up and down. Okay, let's wait for it to load. So let's look at the key and important statistics. Winning months, 30. Losing months, 7 months. Let's hit the calculate button on the 6-month window. 6-month return, 524%. Pretty positive. Let's do that thing from where the market went bad, January 1st, 2018, and hit calculate. 1,313% yield over that period. So this is why when you look at real trading and the power of compounding combined, look at it over a longer time window. Now, I'm going to go to one last strategy because it's very interesting. This is one with leverage, up to a 10x leverage. Binance Alpha BTC. So this is where we're actually taking higher risk for higher rewards. Now, this strategy was only released in September, so we don't actually have 6 months of data for it yet. It's had 3 winning months, 2 losing months. What does that actually result in over this period? And I know that the real trading, if you actually look at the data here, the real trading only started in the sort of start of November. So you're talking November, December, January, February, 4 months. You're talking at 1,085%. Now, keep in mind, past performance does not guarantee future performance. But when I look at consistency over time, and I guess for me, consistency over time is 30 positive months and 7 losing months. It's 22 months and 15 losing months, but an overall very positive outcome. It's 26 months and 11 losing months, but 98% gain. These are significant things that I see that really sort of help you understand a little bit about this. So I encourage you, go to the Endotech site, pull out the portfolio, go through these, select month by month to understand exactly how it moved. Did it go straight up the page over this period of time? No, it certainly didn't. But if you are an investor, not a short-term speculator, Endotech's AI or artificial intelligence strategy really does have an amazing edge in terms of what it's able to achieve in the marketplace. So I hope that gives you some insight that helps you understand a little bit about that. Now let's flip back to the PowerPoint. So one of the things that, so for me right now, I've got a fairly clear understanding of the substance of both of the founders, the substance of the business, and an overview of long-term performance understanding. So now what I want to look at is D.A.Sy has a model for how you can participate, and it's called crowdfunding. Now, crowdfunding is something that's not familiar to everyone, so let's just talk about that for a minute. Crowdfunding is an online fundraising campaign for a specific project. It differs from traditional fundraising in a number of ways. The fundraiser sets a target, people pledge an amount or pay in an amount, usually in exchange for some reward, but sometimes just as a straight donation, and the amount pledged, donated, is remitted to the fundraiser. So what are the crowdfunding goals? They have two. They want to raise 10 million for research and development to further improve the accuracy of their AI machine learning algorithm. Now, for me, we've looked at the performance. Imagine if you could increase the accuracy of that performance. And that performance is primarily designed to find a change in trend and benefit from that trend. So if they can improve their entry or their exit, reduce the number of times they incorrectly determine a change of trend, it will exponentially increase the percentage of return they're able to achieve. The second thing is they're raising 500 million in the D.A.Sy fund to enable them to become a market influencer and to further test and apply their AI machine learning from their $10 million development. Now, we know that their current technology is already exceptional. What will $10 million worth of research and development bring in terms of their abilities? So what would the rewards be for you handing over your financial value to be part of a crowd fund? Well, a percentage of the gains made on the D.A.Sy fund is paid to you relative to your participation. And a percentage of the company shares, when it does an initial private offering or issues their shares on the exchange, will be proportionally shared amongst those crowdfunders. 5% will be shared between all D.A.Sy crowdfunding participants. An additional 5% will be shared amongst qualifying marketing gold pace setters. So 10% of the company and a return on the amount that goes into the D.A.Sy fund. Smart contracts. Well, people say to me, why a smart contract? Why not just do it the traditional way? Well, a smart contract is a self-executing contract within the terms of the agreement between the buyer and the seller, being directly written into the lines of code on the blockchain. The code and the agreements contained therein exist across a distributed, decentralized blockchain network, which means that if you agreed to do A and you do A, automatically B will occur. So that's pretty cool. From an investor point of view, it means that no third party, i.e. the fundraising arm, can steal the coin that's to go into investment. From a marketing point of view, it means that no third party can steal or access your commissions. And I'm certainly sure no one wants that to happen. From a transparency stand of view, it's fantastic because when you send Tron to the network, there's a transaction ID. You can look at that transaction ID and you can see how every single portion of the Tron you sent is allocated both to the Endotech pool, to the development pool, and to all of the marketing associates that may receive a benefit from your contribution. A correctly written smart contract is beautiful because it largely removes the ability for people, power, greed, ego, and all of those nefarious things that ultimately cause management to screw up, to take the money and run. So in this instance, a smart contract represents a fantastic way, a modern, decentralized way of actually ensuring that the process follows. Now, while it's a fantastic benefit to us right now, it's also our Achilles heel, because the complexity of the current remuneration plan that goes with this particular crowd fund was so complex that it didn't scale well. And so that's put us on pause for the moment. So we found one of the weakness of how this particular smart contract was coded. And it's taking weeks for them to rewrite, retest, and bring this back to the market correctly. Now, I'm excited because we've seen a proof of everything to date, a proof of performance from Endotech, a proof of the smart contract working as it should. And now what we're doing is having a even more refined and more sophisticated and simple to operate scalable smart contract put in place. So is the delay that a weakness that was found in this contract frustrating? It certainly is, but it's important to address it and ensure that we can move on and scale positively. So there are not just one path to Endotech. So if you're an investor, you do not have to come through just one door. You can go direct to Endotech. You pay $125,000 per year fee and a standard 30% performance fee on your earnings is expected. So that is one option. So if you're a big institutional investor, their license fee per year is $125K and they pay 30% high on the earnings on those funds. You have the D.A.Sy crowd option, the D.A.Sy crowd fund. There is no annual fee. 50 to 70% of your tier funding of the day goes into the D.A.Sy fund for your benefit. There is a 30% performance fee. 15% of that goes to Endotech and 50% goes to the D.A.Sy crowd pay plan. But in effect, you are 70% of what that fund makes comes back to you. In addition to that, almost like the golden ticket, an unknown future value, is it gives you entitlement to a share in the IPO stock of Endotech when that occurs in the future. So there are a lot of benefits. But there is a third way, and that is you can become a D.A.Sy VIP, which gives you this incredible advantage of being able to trade, have them trade in your own Binance account. So how does that come about? Well, you get all of the previously mentioned benefits. You have to fund tiers, 10 tiers. So you spend 102.3K. Of that 102,000, 69 is in the D.A.Sy fund for you. So if you're an institution, remember you had to spend 125,000 a year, right? And none of it went into the fund. That was just their management fee. If you come in as a VIP, you fund the tiers, 102. But of that, 69% is in the D.A.Sy fund. And remember, whatever the D.A.Sy fund makes, under smart contract, you will get 70% paid back to you. You are then able to have them trade strategies in your own Binance account. Now, for those that want to trade other strategies that are not alpha, there are 2 other exchanges that are quite reputable that can also be used. But most people want a strategic mix of both beta and alpha strategies. So what will it cost you? There's a 5% setup fee. Okay, so you've paid a little bit of cost here, but got some great value. You have a 5% setup fee. You have a 20% performance fee, which is 10% less than you have as an institutional investor. Now, that said, I will say to you, I do know of some institutional investors that don't pay a 30% fee and they in fact have a 25% fee. They've negotiated hard and get that. But the standard fee, as I understand it now, is 30%. So what happens to your 20% performance fee? Well, 10% of it goes to Endotech. 10% of it goes to the D.A.Sy crowd plan. So everyone gets to benefit and you get a better entry to Endotech. Now, I guess one of the really important things is results matter, okay? You can now go to the Endotech website and you can look at what the results are over various periods in time. But equally, for those that are part of the D.A.Sy crowd opportunity, we'll have a back office that can show what really happens. So 69020 as of today has grown by 18.63% or 12,000 additional dollars in that account. The overall fund, 25 million, has grown to over 30 million. Very significant. So this is real live data from a real live market. The amazing thing is that they are committed to transparency. And if you happen to be a VIP, it is really positively valuable. So let's look at a summary of the things we've talked about today. And some of the following is opinion. I have addressed, not everything about everyone on the web will be positive. So in doing my research today, I haven't shared with you some of the scam alerts or some of those negative reviews that are out there. But I have looked at the points they've made and addressed each of them about things like the restaurant address being the building address, and the fact that the website wasn't created till a certain date, and all of those things. Remember, no one is perfect. No one will have no baggage, and no one, people peddling negative energy have a reason to do it. Some of them may be just good-hearted, but some of them are about trying to promote their opportunity over another. So consider the negative, but analytically review it and consider it based on facts. So my overriding balance of probability says to me that the founders of this project on the Endotech side have amazing industry-related credentials and experience. That the corporation isn't a corporation formed in the last 3 weeks, 2 years. It's exceeded the 2-year mark where 80% of businesses fail. In fact, it's been operating since 2012, and it's been publicly in the market since 2017. So it has substance in that regard. It has exceptional trading performance, which I have actually had the personal privilege of being able to cross-verify. So that's been positively encouraging. The smart contract utilization protects all parties. I have to say to you that I am an absolute fan of smart contracts, and I believe the future of doing business will be one of smart contract utilization. In various blockchains, it is just a very immutable, clear way of doing business and ensuring that no one gets to the ability to unnecessarily be able to access things that they shouldn't. The D.A.Sy crowdfund opportunity has an opportunity that allows everyone, regardless of their budget, to participate and get involved in the opportunity and benefit. VIPs get what I would consider to be the ultimate in benefit. They get the ability to access Endotech strategies, and I'll be able to have them trade them in their own account safely without any fear that a third party can steal their coin. For a VIP or a larger investor, the most cost-effective way of accessing Endotech is now via the D.A.Sy VIP program. It's cheaper than institutionally coming direct, and it has less fees. So it's a very win-win situation. The beauty of Endotech is so far they have shown unparalleled transparency, and they have committed to providing ongoing external third-party audits. This is phenomenally positive, and it's exactly what I want to be involved with. The reward referral plan, well, I have to say to you, from an investor point of view, I would have some reservations about this, because the percentage that's being paid to the referring parties is very high. But when I balance that back to the higher cost of entering through other doors, and when I balance that back against the performance of the strategies historically, the level of offense I might feel by that is reduced, and the concept of crowdfunding, bringing it to the masses rather than just a couple of big multinationals or big investors taking all the pie off the table, is something that I'm certainly in favor of. Right now, you have access to a professional white paper about their intentions. They've been clear, direct, and they have published this for peer review. And this is quite a substantive add value to what they're trying to do. Again, my encouragement is don't rely on my research. Our research is not exhaustive. We knew about Endotech and beginning investigating them and looking at various trading accounts long before we actually knew of D.A.Sy, which is quite amazing. But when the D.A.Sy wrapper or the D.A.Sy crowdfunding opportunity became available, it added up. It made sense based on the core value and substance of the offering. Now, my final comment to you: no one cares more for your money than you, in brackets, should. So don't just take my research, our research. Make some time to care about what you're doing. When you are looking to share this with others, make sure that you've found those websites, that you've got them bookmarked. I'll give a list of them to Michael to share with our group, so you can go and have a look at the background yourself. Be aware and understand, because you have an obligation to yourself that's important. So in finalizing that, I really I don't want to go over time. I don't want to overload you with information. But for me, there is an incredible, overwhelming amount of evidence that supports the substance, the history, the people, the business, and what I see in the Endotech offering. I really like, in fact, I love the use of a smart contract as the wrapper that gets us in that door, because it's just so powerful in so many ways. Can I give you an unequivocal guarantee about this? No. No one can, because no one can guarantee the future. What you can do is research and try and determine for you and for the people you want to share this with, is the probability, is the history, is the performance history consistent, positive enough? Are there, what are the red flags for it? What are the market red flags for it beyond just the operation? And determine on a balance of probability which way you choose to move. So on that note, I'm going to hand back to Michael. I'd really like to thank you for being here today. This is not an exhaustive review, but it is one that tries to address things that for me and for Michael are very important when we review who, what, how, and our forward projection of the chance of success we find in something we look at. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Chris. Great presentation. I'm sure that for everybody who's been in attendance today and is going to listen to the recording of this, it'll help give them a lot of clarity on the bigger picture of Endotech, why we chose personally to participate in this project. And you know, it was designed to give you some foundation information for you to make your own informed decision. But as Chris said, it's important that you do your own due diligence, make your own decision. You should never listen to the opinion of others, whether that be overly enthusiastic or whether that be overly negative. You know, people always have their own agendas and reasons why they say things. So it's important, as Chris said, nobody cares about your money as much as you do. So make sure that you know, do the right thing and take time to investigate. But you know, what I would say in closing is that a lot of people get caught up on the upfront crowdfunding compensation plan, pay plan, and how much money is available there. And there's a lot of money there available, obviously, for those who choose to share this. But equally, on the back end, the substance of this project and the whole reason it exists. And remember, the whole reason this project exists is because it's crowdfunding for Endotech's AI technology, and to advance that technology and to create a trading pool that allows that technology to get better and better. So at the back end, that's where the true passive income is developed, as on the assumption that Endotech's technology, even if it just maintained its current results, would still be a great outcome. But the fact that we're working towards improving that result means that for the person who just wants to put $100 in and to see how it works, they can see the results and they can grow it, or for those who want to put more in, or those who want to refer. But the great thing about this is that as a passive participant right through to a proactive participant, there is a serious back-end longevity of income in this. That's what we're all looking for. You know, we don't want an opportunity that we have to go and rebuild something else again in 90 days time, 6 months time, and a year's time, which has unfortunately been, you know, the actual track record for a lot of opportunities in this cryptocurrency area, because we're in a brand new technology space. So we feel we're very bullish and confident about the longevity of this project. And it's also why we've been willing to, work through the challenges that you have that we've been going through. And, nobody argues there has been challenges, but, what we see is everybody is completely committed to the end result and making sure this is a long-term sustainable, viable project. So on that note, I'm going to wrap this up. We'll put the recording online as soon as it's available, and you can start to share it with your team. And don't forget, we've got the official Zoom in about 5 hours' time as well. So make sure you join that if possible. Have a great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world, and we'll talk to you again soon. Take care.